Actually, we've made an agreement with our economic development office, and they're going to create a business center here at the Chin Park Library where I'm at. And it has just all this outreach has increased our workload. And it would be great if we had that dedicated person to put on those business programs to do just focus on the business community versus my department that's being pulled in a bunch of different directions. And of course, my boss was like, well, we need statistics. How many libraries have, business librarians? I'm like, I can't find it.
I know that we just did like they were doing a compensation study, and so I don't know what company they used for it, but because I am a business librarian, but my title is technically economic and community development librarian. And so like having to try to figure that out, I know made it more difficult for that kind of compensation study. And so not that this helps you, but I feel like that's partially why it's hard to find that data, is because it's not just cut and dry, the titles that people have. I recognize that doesn't help, but I do think that makes it more difficult for us to be able to do those kinds of things.
Right.
I know a lot of people too have multiple titles. For example, maybe a department covers business and technology, and there's 3 librarians in that department, so they're all covering that same area. Like Akron, for example, in Ohio does that. So like it totally varies, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. But what they're called, it might be different in different places. Hey everyone, thanks for being here. This is our May Libraries Build Business community discussion. These are monthly peer-to-peer informal conversations. We typically have a featured speaker, and today we have Aubrey from the Tulsa Public Library to talk about Grow Academy. So she will be sharing with us shortly. In the meantime, if anyone has updates or announcements, we can do those now. ALA, we have a few that we can share.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, but feel free at any point to chime in via the chat or to come off mute and say
So in the window, I don't know the name of it offhand, but I
would love to hear from you. And if you are ever interested in being a featured speaker and talking about things going on with your business program or something cool that you tried or something coming up, we would love to have you. Just reach out to me if you are ever interested in doing that. Hey, Kristen. Hey, Diane. Hey, Susan. Good to see everyone. Anybody have announcements or updates or anything they want to share with the group? Or just want to say hi?
Hello, good to see you. I forgot I was not on mute. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'll just share real quick that one of our cohort 2 graduates from the New Start Entrepreneurship Incubator recently got a new position. It's actually with a church, but she catered recently to an event where the Atlanta mayor and the Fulton County DA were in attendance. So that was a really big thing for her to get that kind of exposure. So she's doing very well. Her name is Naomi Jones Manning.
That's awesome, Adam. Thanks for that update. And yeah, Naomi was a speaker at the ELC workshop last month, or I guess 2 months ago. So she's just like a super cool entrepreneur that has gone through the Gwinnett County program and their pitch event, and then now is an entrepreneur with lots of experience.
Yeah, it's the culinary director of it's Greater Piney Grove Baptist Church, but as part of that role, she's doing some catering type events for different things. So that was one of the more high profile ones that she's had recently.
Cool.
Megan, I'd like to share, we're doing Fast Track for the Female Entrepreneur. It's an 8-part series. We got $10,000 of funding from a local nonprofit. We're really excited about that. This is the second time we've done it. But then the other good news is they're adding $25,000 to the business and careers budget for the Entrepreneur Residence Program. So after looking for grants for 6 years, we're now finally a line item. So we're really excited about both of those events.
That's awesome. Congratulations, Diane.
Thank you.
Yeah, that sustainable funding is going to do wonders for your already amazing program.
Also, I'm with Adam, and I just wanted to share that we have 2 honorees who will be awarded the Presidential Volunteer Service Award for Lifetime Achievement. So we're excited about that.
Super cool. Congrats, Terry. That's awesome. Jim, do you want to go ahead and share about National Small Business Week?
Sure. Yeah, I guess I can start out just a short announcement. Last week was National Small Business Week, and we had some videos go out to commemorate the occasion. And I want to give a big thank you in particular to Carly from Baltimore County Public Library, to Leslie Leonard from Richland Public Library. Diane, you can tell her I say thank you, and to Rachel Swoboda, who actually helped us get a video out from Laramie County, as well as Wyoming State Library, as well as somebody from East Baton Rouge Public Library, who I don't know who to thank, but we got a fair bit of engagement, and I thought it went pretty well. I'm going to be posting these videos all in the Slack as well as here right now for anybody who's interested in going over them. But yeah. Thank you all for a successful National Small Business Week, as well as all the work that you do, day in, day out over each year. So thank you again.
Thanks, Jim. And I would definitely encourage people to check out those videos. They turned out really cool. And they just are a good example of showcasing some of the work that is going on, and then also what you might be able to do outreach to your small business community and showcase that work. So yeah, good work, everyone. Okay, so just my usual standard announcements. If you are new here, we have a YouTube page with all of our past recordings. We meet monthly, informal conversations related to business and entrepreneurship at the library. You can check out our videos there. We have a Slack page, which is where we do our community discussions. It's an asynchronous place to share resources, ask questions, learn about events. Please join us there. If you have not, I will drop that link as well. Good place to find out about information, find out about things and information. The ELC, the Entrepreneurship and Libraries Conference Pitch Competition 2024 is next week. It's on May 14th. I will drop the registration in just a minute, but you can register to attend. So I don't think any of the finalists are here today, but 3 finalists were selected to pitch. So we're really excited about that. You can attend to hear their pitches, cheer them on. There's an audience choice award, so you can vote on who you think had the best pitch. And all 3 of the finalists will get some level of funding towards their entrepreneurship program. So it's a really cool thing. Carly was a winner last year. And maybe others in this group have been winners in the past. Oh yeah, Jennifer's here too. Jennifer was a winner last year as well. So just a great way to learn from your colleagues, practice your pitching and marketing, and get some funding for your program. So I would encourage people to sign up for that. Like I said, I'll drop the registration in just a second. And I think that's it. Oh, is anybody going to ALA Annual in San Diego? No, that's sad. Well, if anyone is thinking about attending, definitely let us know. It would be great to meet up. We don't have any formal Libraries Build Business programs this year, but if people are there, I would love to say hi. So definitely let me know if you'll be there. I'm sorry, initial reaction was no. Sad. Anybody else have announcements or anything they want to share?
Hey, Megan, sorry, I didn't unmute when I thought I could. Speaking of ELC, our pitch last year from Baltimore County Public Library focused on supporting reentry and the formerly incarcerated communities. So this past month in April was Second Chance Month, and we had several programs related to Second Chance Month in different aspects. So we did a virtual reentry resource fair that had a good turnout, a two-part business workshop, and then this past Saturday, which spanned into May, but this was our last big event, was a suit giveaway to help individuals get formal wear in case that would help them in this next chapter of their life. And it was really raining here on Saturday, and I was really afraid nobody was going to come, but we had people waiting at the door actually before the event started. So we actually opened up the event early because we were finished setting up and they just asked to come in. So we're like, sure. So we had a lot of people come out for that, which I was thrilled about. So that was related to our mission last year for the ELC pitch competition. So I'm excited for next week to see this year's the pitches this year. And also thanks, Jim, for the shout out. Creating the video was a lot of fun. So that's my update.
That's awesome. Thanks, Carly. It's great to hear, yeah, that you had some programming related to the pitch last year. That's cool. Anybody else? Okay, Aubrey, I think it's time for you. I'm going to turn over the floor to Aubrey to talk to us about Grow Academy in Tulsa.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to share my screen so I can show my PowerPoint. But like she said, my name is Aubrey Naiman. My pronouns are she, her, and my title is the Economic and Community Development Librarian here at the Tulsa City County Library. So I do all sorts of things, but whenever I was hired, the biggest thing that I was asked to do that was going to be part of my job description was Grow Academy. So it was a program that I took over that's already that had already been implemented. And so that's part of what I want to talk about today is coming into a program that somebody else has already created and what that looks like and how you have to edit that along the way, but then also just what we're doing and how we've grown and how it's helped our library. Please feel free to interrupt me and ask questions at any time if you want. And I can also put this in the chat, like this PowerPoint. It has some links in it too. So if you want me to, I can do that as well. So again, overview of what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the history of Grow Academy. It's a fairly new program. And so we're still working on trying to figure out the best way to suit the customers that we have. And then go through and talk about what we do and the growth that we've gone through, and then how that's going to change things looking forward. Another thing, I don't know if this is a thing that y'all are dealing with at your library as well, but we're having to deal with the loss of demographics now. And so what that's going to look like in finding databases to replace that. And so that's also going to affect this programming because a lot of it is based on demographics now. So Grow Academy started in 2022, which was also when the Economic and Community Development Librarian job was created. So it was an entirely new position. Heather Lozano used to come to these meetings. Y'all helped her a lot with actually creating Grow Academy. She was very excited that I got to present an update today. So she started the job and really pioneered it. And whenever she proposed in her job interview, she proposed Grow Academy. And so it's a 10-month program that focuses on different parts of businesses. And Tulsa has a really, really strong economic ecosystem. And so what we are trying to do is help support people who don't really know where to start, whether that be that they have a business started or not. So our biggest requirement is that people have an idea. So they do apply for a spot in the cohort. Now, we accepted 55 people this year, but the cohort classes are open to people. It's just the cohort group has a Facebook group that they're part of. We have a student webpage that they can use, things like that. But the classes are still open to the public. So it's currently a 10-month long program, and we meet once a month And what we do is we work with industry experts. So it's a 2-hour long class. And the beginning of the class is an industry expert from the area talking about something. So market research, a business plan. I have a list of the classes that we do here in a second. And then the second hour is me coming in and talking about how people can utilize the resources we have at the library to do those things. So a big thing that we want to do within Grow Academy is ensure that the local small businesses have the same kind of resources that the bigger businesses in the area have. And this is something we've talked about with reps during database meetings, is that a lot of the stuff that we get provided in our databases that our customers get for free is similar or the same as what corporations pay for. And so teaching our local businesses and people who want to start businesses that those resources exist, help them to be able to level the playing field a little bit. And so that's one of the things that I like to focus on. And so doing this, we provide the databases, the classes, and provide them knowledge with the things that we have within the city. So we also have a large makerspace here that includes an audio lab. And so we've had students that were able to make advertisements and stuff that they would have paid a lot amount of money to do. And we're able to do them here on their own. We have a digital literacy lab. We also provide networking opportunities where we have, we're having a small business networking brunch at the end of the month, and people are going to come, people from my Grow Academy classes, both this year and last year, going to come, and then we're going to have community partners there that they can network with. And from a lot of what I can talk about in conversations with my students, a lot of them really appreciate having a place where they can come and get to talk to other people who are interested in a similar thing as them while also learning. And then through the industry experts and the librarians, it's helping them learn how to strengthen their businesses or start out strong if they're brand new, through knowing how to do a business plan, knowing how to do market research, things like that. A lot of the things that businesses have to do that can be really expensive and that a lot of these people don't have access to. And so it can help them start. And then if they want to pay for those things later on, they'll have the capital and the ability to. This is it's kind of a messy graphic, but it is something that I use to show my students to help them understand, because a lot of times they can't visualize how a database will help them with a business plan or help them grow their company. And so this is something that Heather made. And on the left-hand side, you can see different categories of things that are in a business plan. And then the right-hand side has a list of all the databases we have. And it's just connecting them so that you can see the different ways that these can work together. And it can help my students visually understand, because also a lot of times my students have an idea and they know what they want to do, but they don't know where to start, and they can't visualize what a business plan looks like or what they are going to need to have within one. And so this has been really helpful. Again, I know it's kind of messy, but it helps us to be able to show and talk about what we will end up doing, because the class is based upon, we start the first month talking about business plans, and then basically the rest of the classes build upon what will need to go within that business plan. So we have a class on market research, and so we go through how to use the databases for that. And so the class is built upon that idea so that at the end, people can have a full business plan, and then they can go into an incubator or an accelerator if they want to. That way they have the minimum requirements that are asked of them. So this is the list of the classes that we currently have. And as I mentioned before, because of our growth, we're going to be changing it a little bit. So for now, these are the 10 classes that we have. So business plans and finding fundings, mentoring and networking. Market research is a really big class that we do. I could probably teach, a 10-week class on just market research, but we try to put in as much as we can. Help with marketing and branding, sales and pricing, staff, productivity and prioritization, forms and permits, and then money management and taxes. So Heather ultimately tried to figure out, what are the base things that people need to know and need to focus on, and maybe don't realize that they need to, and then creating a class from there. So these are some of the different comments that we've gotten from students, which I think is helpful because sometimes it can be good to know whether or not we are meeting the needs of what our students are doing and needing. And so a lot of these have been good because they're specifically stating that, like, I like that I'm learning things and being exposed to things I wouldn't otherwise know or be exposed to. And that they like the library presentation backing up what the industry expert gives. So I think that is part moving forward that we are absolutely going to keep the same, because it has been something that a lot of my students have learned a lot from. And so we know that part is working, and that thing that we have is doing what we want it to. So this is a picture of our graduation from last year. So we had 10 people technically graduate, only 5 of them were able to attend our graduation. But these are the statistics for the 2023-2022 cohort. So we had 35 people that were registered and 10 people graduated. And with all of the sessions being completed, our total attendance was 175. We've been really lucky this year that our attendance we have had more attendance in less than half of the sessions that we've done. So we know that the promoting and stuff that we've been doing has been working. So we had 55 members registered and 5 sessions completed, in a total attendance of 185. Now, one of the things that my boss and I were doing whenever we were looking at this was trying to figure out if there's a time when we can tell that the drop off of attendance is happening. And so if that's a reason that we should or shorten the class. And so one of the things that we realized is that at about the 5-month mark, people are dwindling down. And so while the 10-month course is wonderful, we know that there's a lot that happens to people in that 10-month time. And so we're going to try for the next year to do 2 5-month cohorts and see if that will help the attendance, because we're asking a shorter amount of time from people. So part of the reason that we've been able to grow is that we've been really lucky that in the area, our local journalists are really interested in both the economic entrepreneurship things that are happening in Tulsa, but they're also really interested in what we are doing here at the library. And so most recently, me and one of my students got to talk to Douglas Braff, who is a journalist here, and he promoted our classes, and he got to talk to Bibiana about what she enjoyed the most about it. I've put the link here. I won't show it to you all. It's very long, but it was really nice to get to see that it does that, not just within the community of our library, but that within the community at large, what we're doing is having an impact. And we were able to see an increase in attendance after that. So looking forward, I was telling you, we're going to do 2 5-month cohorts. And so after running that data, we realized about the drop off, but also we're losing demographics now, which is what a good portion of this class is based upon. And so both of these things happening at the same time kind of lead us that we need to rework the program somehow, or that it is a good time for us to do so. And so how we're going to try to work on in the future is to have 2 separate cohorts that are 5 months apiece. And if we do a fall and a spring cohort, then our hope is that they can both overlap with our summer reading program in some way, so that we could have programming that is occurring then as well, because we are so busy during those years. So whether it's, or whether that part of the year, sorry. So whether that is, graduation is occurring during SRP, or we have, a sign up time during that, we are hoping that just because we're already so much busier during that time, we'll be able to build upon that. And then we have a workbook that we give our students. And so it's about a 100-page workbook that I inherited. And so I am going to have to spend a good amount of time trying to rework the workbook once we decide on our new database, which was at first really daunting and terrifying, but it has become a really good opportunity for us to figure out what works and what doesn't and what we can do better. And so even though it is a lot of legwork of things to have to do, I think we have a good plan in place. So our cohort that I have now, which we have an average of about 20 people that attend of the 55, they will graduate in September. And so what we'll do is after that, I'm going to take that time to rework the workbook, figure out what we will have decided on a database at that point, and then have time to promote and talk to the community, go out to our different partners, and then start the first cohort in the spring of 2025. So as of right now, that's what we're trying to do. It's been a really successful part of this economic and community development librarian job. I really love it. I love getting to talk to people. I love the vast differences of the things that people come into the class wanting to do. We have people who want to copy edit. We have people who are government contractors, people who bake cakes. I mean, it is wildly different, but they are all so excited, and getting to watch them talk to each other and talk to the experts has been really wonderful. And so I'm really enjoying it. And I've also learned a lot from them about what the community needs and how we can help better fill those gaps. And so it's been just a kind of a wonderful give and take that we've been able to have together. And especially since it's my first year doing it, I'm learning with them. So yeah, it's been really wonderful. I have really enjoyed getting to teach Grow Academy, and I'm excited for the new iterations that we plan on having for it. So does anybody have any questions or comments or things you think we could do?
I was curious, what type of equipment do you have in your makerspace that the business community uses?
Yeah,
mentioned-
so
Yeah,
we have quite a few things. We have the audio lab is one of the most well-used things. So it is a like industry standard audio lab. It has all sorts of audio equipment, and then there's some instruments that are in it as well. So you can record and mix, and then sometimes people will take that and they'll go up to our digital literacy lab and be able to overlay that with videos. We have a laser engraver, a couple 3D printers. We have a very large silhouette machine, and people will use that so that they can create screen prints for their t-shirts, because we also have a screen printing machine. We have a CNC, and we have sewing machines. I think that's what we have. I can send you the link to our makerspace if you'd like. But so we have a lot of different options. And one of the benefits of it is that people can create a cheap prototype to something if they have a physical thing that they're going to be doing, and then they can go from there. But I worked with some people during Global Entrepreneurship Week that came and worked with the head of our makerspace. And they even did fun things like they laser engraved a piece of metal, and it was their business card, and it had a QR code on that so that they could have it and people could scan it. People use it for all sorts of different things. So it's kind of, the possibilities are kind of endless, but yeah.
okay, great.
I have
May
a,
I, can I ask about the experts that you have? Like, who are those, or what subject areas are they talking about? They're obviously talking about accounting and taxes, I got.
Yes, here, and I'll go back to this, the page that has, so here's the different things. So the experts come from different places. So the one for staff, we have a person that I work with in our Tulsa Regional Chamber, and she owns her own PR company. And so she's going to talk to people about how to be a good boss and the different things that you need to know. Market research, we help people try to figure out if they want a brick and mortar store, where is that store going to be? Is it beneficial for them? What does their target market look like? Do they have a NAICS code, and do they know how to use it, right? How to find out where their customer base is, or how much money their customer base is spending on different things. Marketing and branding. A lot of people don't know the difference between marketing and branding, and so helping them understand that. So for these classes, a lot of them, we have a lot of local professors that will come and talk. So we have some people from NSU, OSU, and OU that will come and speak. We have a couple of co-working spaces that also do a lot more programming, they have funding, they have accelerators within them. The biggest one, which is called 36 Degrees North, we partner with. And so they come and they help during the market research one. We have people from the chamber, our local SBA, our women's business centers, basically any of the people in the area that are in the entrepreneurship ecosystem that I can talk to is and try to get them to teach. I do. So I spend a lot of my time not at the library and attempting to make those relationships with people and keep them. And so that is how we ultimately get those. So it really depends on the different kinds. But like the sales and pricing one, we had a person who owns her own SEO company and she talked about that. So it depends. But most of it is just, I try really hard to build and grow the relationships that have already been created and then try to go from there. Carly, did you have a question?
Yes, thank you. This has been great. So there's 10 classes over the 10 months, and then those classes are in person. Does the cohort stay connected just on the Facebook page you mentioned, or is there any other supplementary in-person events that happen throughout the 10 months or during each
Yes,
month?
so both. So the Facebook group is actually new, and that was because of one of the suggestions of our students. They wanted a way that they could be able to talk to each other. It hasn't been that well utilized yet, and so I'm trying to figure out, what's the best way to utilize that and encourage it. But I do have other classes that I teach. So I have the Grow Academy classes are the third Saturday of the month or the fourth Saturday of the month. And then it's the fourth. And then the second Monday of the month, I try to have a class in the evening so that if people want to, they can come up to them. So originally, whenever Grow Academy first started, those just were for the cohort members, and they were not that well attended. And so I've opened them up to all of the public, and they've been more well attended that way. So we do try to do that so that people can keep in touch with each other. And then as far as them keeping in touch with me, we as a library system have a book of research librarian thing that we can do either virtually or in person. And so a lot of times they use that to touch base with me if they have questions on the work that they're doing and stuff like that. But we've been trying to figure out the best way for them to keep in touch with each other. And so far Facebook is our best attempt. So we're seeing how to go from there. So yeah, those are the two other things that we do. Thanks for your question.
One follow-up question. So to be considered a graduate, do they have to attend all 10 classes?
No, and we don't have really strict rules about it. And this is another thing that we're going to have to come, more specifically to, especially because it's free. It is hard to get people to stay in all of them, which is another thing that we're hoping is with it being shorter, we'll have more of a percentage of the cohort graduate. But that also means because it's open to the public, a lot of people just come and attend. And so we've had people that have come and they've attended all 10 sessions and we're like, okay, you didn't technically apply, but you've done more than some of the people who did apply, right? So they are invited to graduate. It's really just on a case-by-case basis. I also record the classes and put them on our student webpage. And so sometimes people, will be out of town. I've had people, have family emergencies. And so they can watch those. And so they're still participating. So I try to be flexible and recognize that, it's a commitment that people have other things going on. And so it really is just case-by-case basis.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions?
I was wondering, do you have contact information? Would I be able to reach out with you?
Yes, that's what here's the contact information page. So there's my email and my phone number. Email is probably the best way to get a hold of me. And I would be happy to email with any of you, talk to you about what we're doing. And we can also set up a time to do a Zoom call or something if you wanted to. And then the tulsalibrary.org/Grow Academy is the Facebook page where we promote everything.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, not to put you on the spot, but I know Gwinnett had a similar challenge in thinking about the length of the cohort and then also how many classes people had to attend to graduate. I don't know if you have any insights, but I remember you were working on that as well.
Well, I mean, the students, anybody who basically is participating in the course can attend and participate in graduation, but we did set, a good standing requirement in order to receive the incentive laptops that they get to keep at the end, and also to participate in our Launchpad component after graduation. So we just built that in as kind of a way to encourage, consistent attendance early on in the course.
And was your first cohort, you were trying to do like a full year, or was that somebody else? And then you realized you should do the 6 months?
Well, no, we've always been 6 months, but we were doing back-to-back cohorts. So we had 2 rounds or 2 cohorts in 1 year's time. So you had a lot of overlap where you were like doing applications and interviewing people as you still had an ongoing cohort. So instead, what we're doing now is we start applications around October, and then we start the course in January to kind of correspond with a whole new start theme. And then we wrap up around this time of year. Well, actually, it'll be in a couple months, June, July, around that time. And then so we have a few months break before we start accepting applications again. It just gives us a little bit of a breather so we don't have overlapping cohorts.
Megan, I was just going to share with Aubrey that for the fast track for female entrepreneurs, the first cohort we had 10 classes, and we felt it was a little bit long.
Yeah.
So this time we have 8, and it's a first come, first serve registration process.
Okay.
And the students have to participate in at least 7 out of the 8 sessions in order to get a certificate of completion from Midlands Technical College. And the facilitator is Tom Ledbetter, and he's very proud to say he's the 3rd most senior instructor for the Kauffman Foundation, who have created the fast track curriculum. And what he does is once he takes the curriculum, he seeks out business experts from the community. The vast majority are women. There are maybe 1 or 2 that are men, but we're going to try this and see, because I know, things come up, but he sent out a very detailed email, about being on camera and being engaged. And yes, we understand things come up, but if you have the information way ahead of time, then hopefully you can plan your schedule for those 8 weeks around those sessions. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but
Yeah, it is. Is it an 8-week course, or is that how they spread it out, as once a week?
well, it's 8 Mondays, and I'll just give you an example because we just were talking about this earlier today. Let me pull up a sheet. So he has, for example, the first one is called Ideate, the Entrepreneurial Lifestyle. And he had a woman, Jennifer Collins, who's the CEO of Proof Alcohol Ice Cream. She was very engaging. So the next 2 weeks are Position. So he's got someone who's talking about market research and then the legal strategy. And it goes on from there. It's the next 2 weeks are Commit. And then the next 2 weeks are Refine. And then the last week is Launch. And this gentleman was the head of the entrepreneurial hub at Midlands Technical College. He just retired back in December, and he still has 2 businesses that he's running on the side. So as he likes to say, he didn't retire, he just changed business cards. It's the funniest thing, because we do 1 million cups here at Richland Library. And he had a shirt on with one of the company names and then his name tag for the other one. And I said, Tom, you're a walking billboard. I can hardly believe it. But it's well attended. And as soon as we put the registration out, it filled like in about a week. So definitely female entrepreneurs is one of our target audiences here.
Adam, I had a question for the laptops that you were talking about giving people in good standing. Did you get a grant for that, or was that something that you worked into your budget, or how were you able to accomplish that?
Yes, that was we used some of the funds through the library's Build Business grant that we
Okay.
received to do that. Those are refurbished laptops that we get. So we get a little bit of a break there, but they're very nice laptops. They're, barely used. But that's been a big incentive, especially for our particular students who, have been previously incarcerated and may have some a lack of, technology access at home. We also give them laptops that they can borrow while they're enrolled in the course.
Okay.
But then they give those back, and then they receive the refurbished ones if they complete the course in good standing.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Does anyone else have any other questions? Thank you so much for letting me present. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Aubrey. This was really cool. It's really cool to hear what you're doing. It sounds like, yeah, a great program. Definitely keep us updated on how things evolve, and how that, yeah, impacts who's coming and your success. If there are no other questions, we can, of course, end early, but if there's anything else anyone wants to talk about, feel free. I'm going to drop the exit ticket into the chat. This is just a very quick, it's a 3-question survey to get a sense of what you thought of the session and what you're interested in hearing and getting out of these meetings. So please take a second to fill that out. Like I said at the beginning, oh, yes.
Well, we are going to be, I guess, creating a maker space here at the library. And of course, we would like to have a business focus. So if anybody has any suggestions or say, well, this is what's used heavily in our library, I would love your input. So I appreciate Aubrey and your input.
And we actually have a flyer that we give out that is the makerspace for small businesses. So I can, are you in the Slack group? Because if you are, I can send it over to you.
I just joined.
Okay.
And I thought I would email you and ask you
Okay,
a little bit more
perfect. Yeah.
about your equipment,
Yep.
the audio equipment, because I think that would be really useful.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. And I can get you in touch with our makerspace coordinator, Hector.
Okay, great.
Richland has a fantastic makerspace and business materials as well. Yeah, there you go. Diane dropped that in the chat.
Okay.
Kathy, I was gonna say, well, this was originally funded through the library's Build Business grant, but we added to our library of things a camera kit that we advertise to entrepreneurs as a way for them to take like nice product photography. So it comes with a camera, a ring light, a light box, and a tripod. And there was consistently so many holds that we actually just added 5 more kits in the last month or two, but that's been really well utilized by our business community.
Hey, Aubrey, I have one other suggestion. There's a lot of grants out there for all different reasons, and we received ARPA funds. And so the purchase was made of 350 Chromebooks, and there are certain criteria that the customer has to meet. But we offer that possibility at all of our career programming and hiring events as well. And so, it's a great way for the customer to get a Chromebook, and then the library provides hotspots that they can check out. So just another way to, find funding that the library doesn't have to foot the bill.
And where'd you say you got that from?
ARPA funds. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you again, Aubrey. This was fantastic. We look forward to hearing an update. Thanks everyone for being here. Hope to see you in June. Like I said, you're welcome. I'm going to leave the line open, so if anyone wants to keep chatting about anything, you're welcome to do so. But otherwise, Hope you have a great rest of your afternoon and hope to see you next month. And next week at the ELC pitch competition. Bye.